So I wanted to make a video about the transformation photos that I posted. I wanted to give more details and context into how all that unfolded, the things that I did to do those transformations, and just give a foundation into what I've done throughout my life. So let's get into that. Here we got me at 13 compared to 18. At the age of 13, I started working out, going into my freshman year. I was preparing to play football, which I didn't get to do, but I was preparing to do so. I used to visit my old man in the summer, and he set up his weight room for me outside and in his garage. And at that point, whenever he get up to go to work, I get up behind him and go work out in the morning, sometimes twice a day. So at an early age, I had an inclination to do that, to just want to push myself. It was always understood that that's what I was gonna do. I would talk to my old man about playing football, and he'd tell me, we're gonna get you on the weights, and that's what we did that summer. So I started out with a good foundation already. It was already something that people always told me, when I was younger. That I was built. I had muscles. So my foundation, whether you want to say I had good genetics or just just me being an athlete, I always competed in everything. I didn't exactly play organized sports as a kid. I was just, that playground kid that came out and competed, and then eventually, I was good at everything. Basketball, football, baseball, just anything that had to do with some type of physical capacity to compete. I was good at that. So I guess that's where I got my foundation from, being able to have this physique at 13. And from 13 to 18, I played football. That was the most consistent thing I did as far as organized sports. I played football and just stayed lifting weights. So I also did powerlifting my senior year. I did powerlifting. I competed in the 198-pound division, and my very first year of competing in powerlifting, I went to state and I placed second. I lost by 5 pounds, and that hurt me to this day, because had I not did the thing that I did leading up to that state meet, I would have won state easily. So it's an impressive accomplishment to try for powerlifting in 1 year and make it to state and win second place. And yeah, it just hurt that I didn't get that first place, because I would have got it easy. I only lost by 5 pounds. So what had happened, the last lift that we did was deadlift. I think my last deadlift was like 585. But the reason what caused my numbers to be so low in that meet is because my squat was only at 535. Now I usually squat 580. Progressing into the powerlifting season, I always went up. I started at 500, 540, 580. I only had 3 powerlifting meets in, and I was able to, increase my strength this much. And but that state powerlifting meet, I did what athletes are not supposed to do. It's no secret that whenever you training for something, you abstain from having sex. So, I learned that the hard way. It cost me a state title, and that ended up being that. So that was at 17 years old, and at 18 years old, uh, I was off in college. My expectation was to walk on and play football, and it didn't happen. But that's those were the transitions that was occurring from the period of 13 to 18. From 165 pounds to 205, and so let's go into the next phase of my evolution. All right, so here I'm 20 years old. I'm in the military. I joined the military when I was 19, and from at this point, I've always stayed lifting weights, competing, in sports. So I pretty much kept a good physique. I gained weight definitely, but I still had a good foundation. I'm at 215 right here, and I started to feel like I was losing my athletic ability and just looking dull. I felt like I was looking dull at this point. So I wanted to do this. Is the first time I ever thought about doing a transformation. I wanted to go from feeling dull to looking muscular again. And I'm looking at this. It don't look like I had that much of a difference from the front view, but you will see in a few seconds that from the side you could definitely see the change that took place. So this is just more photos of me before. From the side view, I wanted to get a good take on what took place before, so I could compare it to after. This was the first time I ever did something like this, and let me say this. At this point, it was going to be a 30-day transformation. I didn't know much about what I was doing. I just figured I'd get it right back. I'm still young, which turned out to be true. You had youth on your side. These your get back, it'll be very easy to get at this point. So I only did 30 days because there was a supplement that I remember taking, a supplement called Lukic, which was the base in it was leucine, and I would say that was the thing that attributed to my physique transforming at this point. This is when I'm getting into supplements. Okay, so we got a shot of the legs right there. I had a good set of wheels on me. I played running back, so the legs was good. Now this is that 30-day transformation. This is when we decided to take photos, because I did this with a friend of mine. Now from the side, you can see the development in my arms and in my chest and in my traps. So a little bit of legs too, but I really don't show off my legs much. I just stick to the upper physique. You can see it from the side and the back. The back is where I definitely gained some mass, and I felt like I did something. I didn't know what I was doing really, but I felt like I did something, at that age. So I gave myself credit for that first transformation, when really it was mediocre now that I look back at it. But I definitely accomplished something, I'd say. All right, so yeah, I had youth on my side. I was just eating. Didn't know how to eat. I was used to eating, just eat. Okay. All right, right here, I'm out of the military. You know, I got out of the military, and my plan was to walk on and play football, which I did. So this transformation took place from before I walked on playing football and actually playing football at a university. So at 23, I ended up being 235 pounds, which I thought was decent. But now that I'm looking at it, I was fluffy, you know. I stayed lifting weights, so I had the physique. I thought it was impressive, and I maintained, you know, muscle definition. I was definitely strong. I've been strong my whole life, so that never went nowhere. So let's get into the progression. All right, this was the beginning. I know that because I wasn't in college yet. I had just got out of the military. Now this is when I'm actually in college. It was in my dorm room. We talking about it, getting ready to. We saying we gonna do this. We gonna look like this, and you know, we was just taking some photos. So now I'm actually in my routine. I'm getting into the routine, and I still don't know what I'm doing in terms of eating. I'm just lifting weights, you know, and I'm not eating junk food. I'm just, you know, not eating as much, not eating junk food, and working out once every afternoon. I think I was working out in the afternoons at this point. And so I'm progressing into that, getting prepared to walk on and play football. And, you know, I'm looking at this and thinking, okay, my body is developing now. Right here is when I was actually on the football team, because we were actually lifting weights 2 times a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. And I was looking at myself like, okay, I ain't never seen myself actually look this massive and cut. So I started feeling myself, you know, taking photos, posing. It was impressive to see. It was definitely impressive to me. I wanted to take photos every day at that age. Yeah, the back was impressive, and the front was definitely impressive, and my strength was incredible. Like I always had a decent amount of strength for my height and weight. So that was the journey of 23 to 24, from 235 to 215. I lost weight, but ended up, you know, I ended up liking it. I thought that, okay, now I know what it looks like and feels like to be leaner. You know, the thought of being more defined crept in my mind, and I wanted more of that. So I kept that up, you know. Next, this started at 25 years old. I kept that up from 23 all the way to 25. Stayed in the gym, stayed consistent. Was looking impressive. I got up to 230 pounds, and for me, that I started to feel like I'm too heavy. You know, for my height, I'm 5'10". You know, I look good, but I don't feel as athletic no more. I can't jump like I used to. I take pride in how I was able to jump. So at that point, you know, I felt like something had to be done. I just wanted to lose some weight. So let's get into that's when I started. It was nothing wrong with my physique. Getting the compliments and all that stuff, which is cool, but the way I felt mentally and physically, it was just too much weight at that point. I wasn't that old to slow down. I always been athletic, so I like to still do athletic things, but with that much weight, it just made things harder. Now I'm looking at this, and this is, I was growing my hair, and at the same time, I was trying to lose weight, so I started running more. I started doing more workouts tending towards cardio. Not trying to lift as heavy, not trying to be as sedentary. I think I was doing in between my sets in the weight room. I would do some type of cardio, so that way, I'm constantly, getting my metabolism going, keeping my body temperature up, sweating, just draining myself basically. I'm learning as I go. I don't know I didn't know a full understanding of how to lean out at this point. I just knew to work hard, so I was working hard. Eating right the same way I was doing in college, which was not eating junk food and not eating as much, and just staying consistent with that. And so I got down to 215, and I started thinking, okay, let me get a little more muscle from at this point. This is just things that I'm thinking. I don't know what I'm doing. I just knew I was too heavy at 230. I wanted to lose that. Got down to 215, and at this point I wanted to put more muscle back on, which is now I'm looking at it. That's what I did. I think at this point I started slowing down with the cardio, allowing my muscles to get more volume, and just looking the same with that lean frame, but with a little more mass. So that ended up being what I was doing, and I capped out. Well, I didn't cap out. I was at around 220 at that point, and I felt good. At that point, I was like, yeah, this is where I want to be at. I like this. I like the look. I like the feel. Not too heavy. I could still, run, jump. I still have my dexterity. I still had all these things that I prided myself in as being an athlete. So, that's why I stayed at that point at 26. So in the next phase, yeah, I kept that up. I kept going, and naturally with everything, as you get older, and the things that I was doing, naturally I'm gonna get heavier. Everybody did, and I started to see that. I started to see how you're not as active as you was as a kid, so you're gonna keep getting heavy regardless of what you're doing if you don't have the intent to control that. And I found myself at 240 pounds, and I was still jacked. I still had the muscle for it. I still had the look, still, getting compliments about my size and strength, and it was cool. But I remembered, like, nah, this weight, this is not where I want to be right now. Not at this age. Maybe when I got no choice but to slow down due to age, I could be comfortable at a heavier weight. But I still feel like I got more to give, more to do, more to challenge myself, not just in strength, with a lot of my athletic capacity. So at 27, I decided to, lose that weight. And looking back, I did not expect to want to drop down to 185, but during that time, I had sort of my own spiritual awakening, and that took on a life of its own. And when it comes to my physique, I eventually came to the point where I decided to okay, let me eat like a vegetarian so I could lose this weight. And from there, that progressed into let me eat like a vegan, because this whole spirituality kick got me thinking about taking care of my mind and my body, just really having a cleansed mind and a cleansed body. So I guess the idea of purity was in my head about eating like a vegan, and eventually I landed into just calling it plant-based, because you say these things, especially vegan. You say something like vegan, now you're a part of a community, and the people in these communities they make it into a cult. Like you got to follow the rules, and if you say this, then you not really. It was never about that for me. It was just the benefit of eating in a way that benefits my mind and body. So I left that, that word vegan alone, and got in and just said plant-based. I'm on a plant-based diet. And that was from 27 to 31. But, it was many things that transpired from that time frame. That's 4 years. So it wasn't just cut and dry, okay, 240 to 185. It was a lot of things that happened while I sized down, while I lost that weight, because now I got more interest in inner work. I got more interest in developing my mind and developing the spirit and getting closer with God, things like that. So I started that at 27, and to be honest, that's a real turning point in my life, because when I decided to do inner work, it took on a life of its own, something that I never expected out of myself. But I definitely, it was worth it, because I'm glad I took on that, and it changed me for the better. So I'm just, these are just pictures showing, how much mass I had at that point. I said like I was 240. It was still, the strength was there, the frame was there, the physique was there. I was just massive, and I started to feel like I didn't like that. Okay, now that was from that photo to this photo, that was a few years had passed. I'm slowly losing the weight. I'm not really just keeping up with, oh, this is for the transformation. The transformation is me changing my mind about, what I thought myself to be, changing my mind to the things that I tied myself to, and that took years. So it wasn't, some of the times when I was losing this weight and training, there were times where I fell off, got back on, and did that plenty of times, and to the point where I could really give it a good push. And at this point, I think I was 30 or 31. So from 27 to 31, that's when, everything was coming together in a way that I could give it a good push. And I think I started recording my results at this point, and looking decent again. I think at this point I was 215, but like I said, I had that spirituality kicking, and I don't know what was driving me towards just getting the most out of my diet, so that my mind had the clarity to receive what I would say would be just connection with God, connection with spirit. And that's what I felt like that was pushing me to do more of eating plant-based while training so hard. because it gave me a sense of clarity. It gave me more energy than I ever had in my life, and just seeing myself open up that way, just seeing how it transcended my mind to another level. I was enjoying it, you know. I was obsessed with it, to be honest, and that's why I didn't mind losing the weight, because I knew what I was receiving spiritually, and I just kept that up, you know. Kept training, kept eating a plant-based diet, and just getting what I needed at that moment, and I kept going. So that right there is around 215. I remember, and I just kept going. Yeah, that plant-based diet was really something that I enjoyed because of the energy that it gave me. I didn't get tired for nothing. I could go all day, didn't think about taking naps. Uh, just the clarity. That's something that I for me, clarity is something that there's no substitute for. When all things is clear, you make the right choices, and that's why I place clarity above all. You know, if you have clarity, you have happiness. If you have clarity, you have peace, because you, whether it's good or bad, you understand the circumstances or the limitations that you in to strive or push forward. So the clarity that I had with this clean diet and just really training myself the right way, it was one of the best times of my life. So now I could tell I'm actually losing more weight, and this is because I started fasting. I got into fasting, so I got to a point where I was looking good, but I pushed that further by fasting. You know, at one point I had did a 7-day water fast. It wasn't just water. I would, you know, I had my electrolytes, my magnesium, sodium, potassium, you know, things that keep me hydrated. But I did a 7-day fast. And some days during that fast, I was completely drained, didn't have no energy, felt horrible. But after that third day, for some reason, my energy just boosted to another level, like if I achieved a higher status. And that, you know, I was obsessed with those. They were like treats to me, to be able to reach a new level mentally, to be able to see something different inside of myself. You know, I was obsessed with that, and that's what kept pushing me to, you know, cleaning my body, getting my body right. I loved it, and the outcome was just looking better. You know, I lost a lot of weight. You know, a lot of people were saying, well, you look sick," but to me, I felt incredible. You know, and I think at this point, looking at this photo, that was the pinnacle of what the outcome of that whole transformation did. You know, just having an incredible physique. So from 27 to 31, what's that? 240 to 185. That's 55 pounds. So at that point, you know, I didn't have nothing to complain about. Now, fast forward a little bit, you know, you can see my hair growing, and I think I let go of the plant-based diet, because at this point I started doing a harder strain of work. I was working in the oil field, so given the limitation of time and resources that I had to prepare my meals and train the way I needed to, I started just eating whatever again, pretty much. And that's what comes with it. I mean, you honestly gotta adapt to the situation. So trying to maintain that plant-based diet in the environment that I was in, it was doing more damage than good, because I noticed that I wasn't recovering right. I felt depleted. I didn't feel strong. So I started gaining my weight back, and to counter that loss, to counter that output that working 12, 24-hour shifts would do to the body. So you can see I gained my weight back. I think I was at like 215 at this point. I still, like I said, I always keep a good foundation. So I still look decent enough to, feel confident about my physique. And yeah, I remember thinking, I was gonna stop at 220 and try to make it to 12% body fat. Oh, and another thing, back at this point right here, I had when I was at 185, I had got down to 10% body fat. So that was the lowest percentage of body fat that I ever had. Going back to where we were, yeah, I was at like 18% body fat, around 215. I remember that because I started keeping up with things like body fat, because I was just finding new ways to challenge myself and understand how to accomplish these physiques at will. I started learning more, and I did that. So, I'm gaining more weight because I'm still, trying to maintain the job that I was doing and stay training my body. Working out. I always work out heavy, regardless of what I'm doing. I have to push myself in that way. I have to challenge my strength. That's just, a character trait in me, I guess. So yeah, I kept that up. And where we at now? I would say that ain't too bad given the circumstances. Still looked all right. And right here, whew, yeah, at 35, I think I can't even look at that. It's just the worst I ever seen myself. Time had passed, and I had, was dealing with a few things, so I stopped working out and was just eating. I was scared of this. This is what I was scared of when I was younger, getting to the point where you're not doing nothing and you're gonna constantly gain weight. You see it in everybody, family and friends who slow down, they get bigger. That's the nature of aging. And so it happened to me, and I tried to avoid it, but it happened. But luckily, man, I got good willpower, because and when I decided to take these photos, that was the point where I said, oh no, I gotta get back into shape. But when I took the photos, I didn't realize how bad it had gotten. And it was just a kick in the ass to say, okay, let's go. And I did that. So at that point, I started, slowly getting back into who and what I do. And fast forward, that was maybe a year later, the weight coming off. So it's not that I made this happen within a matter of months. It was just something to keep in mind, that I need to get back in shape. So, I'm still tending with work. I'm still tending with kids. I'm still tending with the things that I came to enjoy doing, like reading, writing, researching, just evolving my being. So, and you gotta find these ways to keep yourself stimulated. Me, I found there's no point in just doing what you have to do. You have to do things that you want to do too. And so fast forward, the weight's starting to come off, and now I'm in a place where, okay, I could give it a good push. And that's what I started doing. started giving it a good push. And at this point, I came to the point where I'm gonna do keto. I was doing the keto diet, high protein, high fat, low carbs. So that's the last transformation I've done using the keto method. The keto method is cool because it did give me some good results and fast. And you gotta know how to use the keto method. It ain't it's simple, but you have to establish certain things like your electrolytes, making sure you have the proper fat intake. You can't do added sugar, and there's a lot of things that I could get into, but I won't try to focus on what the keto diet or none of my diets were. But I just want to say the keto is what allowed me to transition into this physique that I'm looking at right here. And so now I see that it's working. I'm doing the right things, and I'm starting to feel better about myself again, because at one point I was thinking that, oh shit, I am old. I can't get it back. But consistency wins over everything, and I stayed consistent, and I started to see the results and started to think, okay, yeah, it's you're not old. You gotta find a way to make it happen. Now that was last year at 37. I got down to 195 pounds at 12% body fat. And I'm not far away from that right now. I'm at 210, 215, and 18% body fat. So yeah, I just wanted to share some foundation of what I've done throughout my life to transform. I use the word transform, but I really, the word evolve is better suited, because I never really changed. I just did more of what I like to do, and I did it better. I got smarter. I got wiser at some of the methods that I used, and I'm able to get to a physique like this and at my age. So I find that impressive, and just want to share. I'll share more of the details, like when I did the plant-based, when I did the keto, how hard I actually trained myself, how long, the different training methods I use, and just to help others out that might think that it's not, that they can't get to this point, and because they're too old or they don't know how, they don't have the information. I will start sharing more information of how that's possible. So that's the transformation video.